Hello and welcome to Mark Who 42's Whoniverse, Doctor Who Whoniverse, that is. I'm your host, Mark Baumgarten, and with me as ever is...
Patricia Helm, Queen of the Universe.
Yes, and I am looking for Sarah Connor. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Darn it, wrong robot. Wrong cyborg. Let me start over. Just kidding. I'm Eduardo-m-Freyre, and I am the protector of the Queen of the Universe. So, everybody behave.
Wake up and tell us who you are, sir.
Oh, don't touch me there. Oh, sorry.
Nobody around here is near you.
Sorry. Oh,
no one near
sorry.
you.
All right,
here.
get off of bed, you gold brick, and introduce yourself. And afterwards, you're gonna have to run. You're gonna have to do 500 push-ups. Now get down the floor and move.
Yeah, he'd be lucky if I do one, and I'll be getting up off the floor.
Come on, come on, lazy butt. Come on. That's it. Come on. My grandmother can do it, and she has arthritis. Come on.
I'm sitting in a chair. I hope he knows. Anyway, I am co-writer for the new episode of Dr. Stu.
Woohoo!
Legend-of-the-Traveling-Tardis, which I'm the creator of. Hey, there you go.
Drink up. Oh, that was a self-plug, Mr. Basil.
Yes, drink.
Oh, we love to drink on the Mark Who 42's Whoniverse show. Every time we do a shameless self-plug, the drinking game is to take a drink.
And I think this is why Florida Highway Patrol has all our license plates written down.
Yeah. Well,
if we start driving erratically, they'll be like, okay, who did the shameless plug? Which one of you guys did the shameless plug?
Anyway, now that we have our introductions out of the way, it's time for...
It's now time for all the Doctor Who news that is fit to listen to a podcast with our Doctor Who correspondent, Patricia Helm.
Hello, everybody. Well, the biggest story of this recent week, obviously it's the one that broke yesterday, and that was that BBC America accidentally sent out the Blu-ray edition of the 7th series of Doctor Who Part 2. So the finale, The Name of the Doctor, is out there and being seen by people.
You know what's funny?
I got it. Do you want me to tell you how it ends?
Did you get it? Because I was actually going to order it from BBC. I almost would have been one of those people who got the order.
I can tell you how it ends.
Tell us how it ends. Does it end?
Wait, Christian, you actually seen it? Christian, you've seen it?
The boat sinks. What? I'm sorry. No.
You've actually seen it, but you actually did get the Blu-ray and saw it.
No, he was lying. Can't you tell a lie from the truth, Mr. Eduardo?
Well, actually, yes, I can. But Christian's feeble attempt at humor, and emphasis on the word feeble, okay, does segue into what I'm about to say.
Yes, it's our official position on this.
The official position, and I'm gonna start, being a teacher and being someone who has been through private school. I'm going to tap into that part of my psyche. Okay, the official position of the podcast is that while the Blu-rays are in the hands of a select few, which, by the way, congratulations if you're one of the select few, you get to see it early.
They got the golden ticket.
Yeah, but however, the episode itself is not airing until the 18th, which means that we are not going to talk about it. We will not be accepting spoilers. We will not be accepting comments or anything related to the episode until it hits on the 18th, and we've had a chance to record it. I think we should also mention that we are recording this a day later than we usually do. Part of that was yesterday was Mother's Day, which, by the way, any moms who are listening to the podcast, happy belated Mother's Day. I hope you had a wonderful day and your children spoiled you rotten. Mm-hmm. But in any event, we are recording this a day later. We may be, due to certain circumstances, we may also be recording the finale review a day later as well. But until we record, we will not be accepting any information regarding the series finale. So anybody who wishes to share, I'm sorry, you're going to have to keep it a secret for a week. We're all big boys and girls here. I'm sure that you will be able to cope.
Now, Stephen Moffat, he has said that if no spoilers are revealed, we will have a special video of Matt and David following the showing of the finale.
Ooh.
Probably saying thank you for not trolling Internet.
And speaking of Stephen Moffat, he was interviewed last night at the BAFTA Awards on the red carpet.
Oh, the BAFTA Awards were great last night.
Oh, good. You saw him?
Yeah, I got to see part of it.
Yeah, great.
And of course, one part I saw was the special part.
Oh yeah, the tribute to Doctor Who.
Yeah, much better tribute, and it wasn't. I mean, it was. When you talk about tributes to Doctor Ed, you were talking about the James Bond tribute at the Oscars, and then how it was like nothing. This was kind of like nothing, but at the same time, I really enjoyed this one.
Okay, but I mean, at least did you have more than just like who? What was
Jenna-Louise-Coleman was there to introduce a category of best comedy. There was nothing. It was just clips, but it was nice to have the clips. It just worked better than the James Bond for me.
I agree.
Okay,
but it was not the same kind of thing.
Okay,
Yeah,
but basically same kind of thing. Like you didn't have, like they didn't bring out Baker or anybody.
No. It was just a 3-minute thing of clips with music used to introduce Clara for the award nomination. It was kind of it was just nice. It was a very good. They used some really good clips, and it really worked well.
Okay,
I posted it to the Facebook page, so you can go check it out later.
I posted the interview with Stephen Moffat that you're talking about.
He said not to believe everything that we are reading on the 50th anniversary.
He wouldn't even comment on which rumors were very far-fetched because he thought that was giving it away.
I gotta be honest. I kind of wish that he would have at least taken, I don't know, one rumor and debunked it.
Well, he was afraid that if he debunked it, maybe part of it was true, and if he debunked it, it wouldn't have worked. He doesn't want to tell anything about the special.
It would have kind of gone a long ways towards making, I think, a lot of people feel better about what we may be seeing for the 50th.
Yeah.
Because I mean, this is again, we've just had this constant stream of. This person's not doing it. That person's not doing it. It still would have been. I don't know. Maybe there's something that he has in mind. And yeah, maybe you're right. If he would have debunked it, it would have killed like a big surprise. But
right. And for all
nice.
we know, the people who are not doing it are misdirecting us to. We don't know. We have no idea what this script is about. They are not letting any of it out, and we don't know who's in it, what's in it. We know, John Hurt's in it. We don't know anything about it. The rumor that he's the real Ninth Doctor, that's just a rumor. We don't know these things. This is just conjecture and people making things up. It's kind of it's demoralizing being a Doctor Who fan when everything that you hear about it, all these rumors are making you feel like, Doctor Who's not a show. Maybe we shouldn't be waiting for a 50th anniversary. Maybe we shouldn't have been watching the show all these years because we're not going to get what we want. Well, you know what? We get what we want or we don't get what we want. We are a part of a show that has been around for 50 years, and we will see things that will amaze us. We'll see things that we hate. But we love the show. And just because someone gives a rumor about it that makes you not want to see the 50th anniversary, it doesn't not make me want to see the 50th anniversary. It wants me to see what even if they are telling the truth, even if, let's say, okay, John Hurt is the Ninth Doctor. Well, you know what? I want to see how they get it to work. Because in the end, Doctor Who works. And I don't think any of that made sense, but I still like to say that.
Actually, I'm sorry. I know the ending, and it turns out that Soylent Green is people.
I know.
I'm sorry. I gave that away.
No,
I'm sorry.
But
I thought
that's
our
okay.
fans would
That's
know.
okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's another movie.
That's another movie, and that's a good.
Well, Christian. I do have to reveal. It turns out that Leia's his sister.
No! I was going to watch that.
Wait a minute. I thought he was his father.
No, that's something else. And and
I got one.
Okay.
I got one. Snape kills Dumbledore.
No!
Well, see, I knew that because I secretly am Snape, and I will and for your comments, Christian Bale, it would be 10 points removed from Gryffindor.
Alanis Morissette is God. Oh no, I ruined that one too. Kevin Smith's going to get me on that one.
She's a he. I found. Oh, that's Crying Game. Sorry,
That's
guys.
Crying Game.
Oh God! And there goes our family friendly tag. Thank you, Christian. Once again, taking this family friendly podcast and dragging it through the muck.
Oh, Mark 42's universe, we're the best, are we?
Bruce Willis is dead.
No, really? Thank God, because I thought the alimony payments he had to pay were substantial.
Not that dead.
Oh.
Oh yeah, and it turns out that Chancellor Palpatine is the Emperor.
Oh, like we didn't see that one coming.
I swear to God, I had no idea. He was just such a nice, harmless old man. He wanted to do good by the Republic.
Okay.
I'm shocked. I'm hurt. It's like my best friend has stabbed me.
Violet Green as people!
And on that note...
we're now completely derailed.
We're so derailed. Do we have any more news to get us back on track?
Well, you already talked a little bit about the John Hurt rumor, so I don't think we really need to go over that again.
It's just a rumor. We don't know. It was in the Sun. Who reads that newspaper? That newspaper doesn't give you any information that's real.
And Billie Piper, she spoke briefly about returning to Doctor Who and saying how that it feels like it was going home for her. But she did also say that the 50th celebration, that it's very much for the fans. So, and she said, you're really going to feel this on this particular episode.
So it is aimed at the fans, not just at people who... we'll get different information from different people. And Billie, of course, it was in it. So she if she says it's for fans, it's for fans.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, you have more to say about it later, and I also want to put in my 2 cents, but that's later.
And did anyone see the picture of Matt Smith online with his shaved head? He's filming that movie with Ryan Gosling is directing, How to Catch a Monster. And so the question that everyone is asking is, how can he grow his hair back in time for Doctor Who? Because he's supposed to be filming the 2013 Christmas special right after the movie wraps.
He'll do what Sean Connery always does. Wear a toupee.
Some people are saying...
Bond. The name is Bond. Bald Bond.
Yeah, but there is a rumor going around saying that it's all a ruse, since they already filmed the 50th anniversary, that maybe it's actually Matt Smith's final episode. Which I don't buy that, because...
I read something that confirmed he was in 2014. I read a news article on that. So.
And that is all the news that I have for this week.
Wow, that's a little bit of news. We usually have a lot of news. We have a very little bit of news.
It's mankind.
Oh, so you know what that means? We can do this commercial break early. We're going to a commercial. We'll be right back.
Pixels in the Animation is the next cartoon review podcast series in the GeekCast Radio Network's long history of review series. We've had Transformers, He-Man, and Mask as far as the cartoon review podcasts we have done. Now we bring in TV's Mr. Neil as he and TFG and Mike break down 9 video game cartoon series. Steve Megatron will join us for the Mega Man and Sonic episodes. We will be reviewing and analyzing every episode of the Mario, Zelda, Captain N, Mega Man, Donkey Kong, and Sonic cartoons. You can expect us to go in-depth and also talk about the game franchises that spawned these cartoons. So tune in summer 2013 as we find the pixels in the animation.
Are you looking for a weekly dose of gaming news and retro? And check out Off the Cuff, available Fridays on GeekCast Radio Network from the producers of XRG. New name, same.
Welcome back to Mark 42's Whoniverse. I'm Mark Baumgarten, and with me as ever are Trish Helm, Eduardo-m-Freyre, and Christian Basel. And today we're going to be talking about...
Nightmare in Silver, Saturday's episode of Doctor Who, featuring the return of the Cybermen. Now, of course, we're in spoiler territory, so by now you really should know the drill, which is, anybody who's not seen the episode, pause the podcast, go to your DVRs, your on-demands, or over to your friends' houses that have DVR on demand, watch the episode, then come back and keep listening. Otherwise, please do not cry for us, Argentina, if you're going, oh my god, I didn't know that happened in the episode, and oh god, now it's ruined for me. I'm warning you, we've all warned you, you do not heed our warnings, we will not cry if you all of a sudden show up and you have circuitry where circuitry is not supposed to go.
So, what did everyone think about Nightmare in Silver?
Well, do you remember what I said? Do you remember what I said at the end of last week's podcast?
I hate kids.
Well, okay, not quite. Okay, first of all, not quite.
Just be prepared, Tricia, for the future there.
Just letting you know, Trish.
Yeah. Well, first of all, remember that Trish and I were kind of the same mind. Not that I hate kids; it's that I'm not a big fan of inserting the kids. But I also, more importantly, I said that I'm just gonna my mantra will be, in Neil Gaiman we trust. And I am very pleased to report that my trust was not unfounded, that Neil Gaiman actually did a great episode in spite of the fact that we had the two young ones accompanying.
Artie and Angie.
I did like the episode. I didn't mind Artie, but Angie,
oh my God.
She drove me insane. The whole episode. And I mean, it wasn't even just her character. The acting was horrible as well. And it was just, I don't want to harp on it too much, but the thing is that the best part was that Neil Gaiman wrote it so that she was silent for a lot of the episode.
Oh yes, thank God the kids were in standby mode for half the story. I was thanking the Rassilon on that one. Did you notice that when Angie had her stupid little tantrum with her phone not working and she didn't want to stay put where they've been told to, I hate the future, blah, 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 on the screen, and I'm giving something away for a little bit, but the Cybermites, and we'll get into them later, the Cybermites' point of view screen has a readout that says disassembly recommended when she's doing her speech, when they're looking at her. And now,
I didn't notice that.
It was hysterical. I'm looking at it. I watched that over and over. That scene, I kept playing it back. And then Artie then gets her readout after he's saying, I'm scared. I don't want to be here alone. It's not fair that you're leaving. He gets disassembly recommended upgrade, which to me shows that to the Cybermen, at least Artie had potential. But Angie, just get rid of her. Disassemble her right now.
You have bad characters when you're rooting for them to go, please turn them into Cybermen. Please do it. Just get it out of the way.
Yes.
Next episode is better.
Christian, what do you think of the episode?
We had a big quorum. Actually, that was one of the things we put on our the Traveling TARDIS website was people to rate between 1 and 10, and a lot of people came up between 7 and 10 for the most part.
Wow. See, I guess this is the first time that Marku 42 has a major rift in the episode. I did not like it. I like parts of it. There were some very, very witty, some very, very funny sections. But overall, the whole story did not work for me. Now, to be honest, I had a slight problem with the Doctor's Wife. Both by Neil Gaiman. I don't know what it is. I like Neil Gaiman. I like his writing. I don't like him for Doctor Who. I just don't. I'm so glad that there are reports going, why Neil Gaiman is not going to be showrunner of Doctor Who, because I don't want him to be showrunner. I'm not feeling Neil Gaiman on Doctor Who. I'm watching it and I'm like, every time there's something witty or funny or good about it, I'm going, all right, so maybe it'll pick up. I just, as a whole episode, it didn't work for me. Major points were very good, but as a whole, it didn't flow.
I actually liked the episode. I will admit that, I do have, tiny little nitpicks, other than the fact that, I was waiting for Angie to get cyberized or, at least controlled.
And the kids were a major part of, and like I said, they were in standby for half of the story. So, for half the story, I can't say it was the kids that ruined the story for me.
Yeah, no, but I will say, this, I liked Artie. I liked Artie. If I have any real complaints, it's that they set up that Artie was good at chess early on in the episode.
Uh-huh.
And chess ended up being a major part of the episode.
Yeah.
But this was, again, while Artie was in standby mode. So that little story beat never really saw fruition. It would have been interesting if maybe during the chess battle between the Doctor and Mr. Clever, Mr. Clever had accessed Artie's skills, and maybe the Doctor goes, "No, that's cheating." With maybe Mr. Clever going, "Hive mind, I can tap into it because technically it's my mind." But yeah, they never really got into that. But I will say, I think that out of the two, if you had to choose only one of the kids to show up in an adventure, I'd say please pick Artie, because Angie
they gave
was just...
the phone to Angie, though. They gave
she was... I remember what... I had my reservations when we were talking about the fact that the kids were going to be there, that we were going to have some sappy, sugary, sentimental stuff, and, someone was going to get turned into a Cyberman, and it was going to be power of love setting them free, tears, and oh my god, but that didn't happen, thankfully, mercifully. But we did have what Trish was worried about, which was, what was it you said, Trish, last week?
Oh, about, the kids are going to be, they're going to wander off on their own.
Yeah.
Which she did.
She did. And yep, here we go.
I have a question. I thought they kind of blackmailed Clara to come on board the TARDIS and go. Why was she being such a spoiled brat? She got what she wanted, and she's just
Yeah. No, and
I don't like the future. Well, then don't go to the future. Get killed so we don't have to see you anymore, lady.
And to me, one of the stupidest parts was when she gets picked up by the Cybermen, and then when he takes her and puts her down, she says, "I hate you." Yeah. I'm like, really? That's what you're going to say to a Cyberman? I hate you?
Wow,
Not what the heck are you?
She's a teenager. She's a teenage brat.
No.
Yeah, but not to mention the fact that she was in a room where she got to experience real zero-G.
And, she had fun
and even then, her response was kind of like, it was fun. Like, oh wow, you can't admit that you're actually enjoying yourself. She was a stereotypical teen, preteen. Annoying for annoying's sake, and really, her presence didn't add anything.
No.
Other than just you wanted to say, shut up. You're in a giant amusement park. You're on another planet. You're in a different time period. What do you want? And if you're going to whine, stand in the corner, let everybody else have a good time.
Am I the only one who saw at the very beginning fake moon landing?
Are you one of those that Buzz Aldrin would have punched out if you would have met him face to face?
You know what? I totally believe we landed on the moon until I saw that scene. I was like, damn, that's where he landed. That's where he put his foot.
So they actually filmed it at Hedgewick's World.
Disneyland gone wild.
Apple flips.
Oh, by the way, at the end of the finale, the corpse in the middle of the bathroom was actually Jigsaw. Just want to let you know there. Yeah,
you're right.
Kind of scary. Sorry, guys.
Now, the room that the kids were sleeping in, did you guys notice some of the different stuff that was in there?
Oh yeah, there was some really cool stuff. Why don't you tell everyone out there what they were in case they missed it?
Was there like a ventriloquist dummy or something?
Yeah, from the God Complex, and there was a Shan Sheath head from Death of the Doctor, Sarah Jane Adventures.
Yeah,
and
the script that was left in the taxi by the little girl, by the person who played the little girl, was in that scene as well.
That's good. There was a Torchwood alien, the Blowfish.
The Blowfish, yep.
From Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
And then there was a robot from the Rings of Akatan. But, we'll skip that part. Oh, now one thing
most people did skip that episode.
I wish I had skipped that episode. Yeah. I almost wish I had skipped this episode. I don't know what it is. I've only liked the episode so far.
One of the highlights of this episode, though, was Matt Smith's acting.
Oh, yeah.
When he was playing on himself as Mr. Clever was very clever. I enjoyed that. That was kind of fun.
Yeah, I like, looking at Matt Smith, one gets reminded of the Star Trek Next Generation two-parter Best of Both Worlds. First of all, one of the things I like about the whole Dr. Mr. Clever thing is, first of all, I like the idea. I remember that before the episode aired, they posted pictures online, and I saw the pictures of the Doctor and Mr. Clever in that whole mindscape kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And at first I was like, wait a minute, what? I found myself thinking, wait a minute, does that mean that's kind of a cyber clone? Or is this sort of a mindscape type of thing where it's the Doctor's regular psyche versus the evil cyber psyche? And it appears that choice B was correct. But,
choice B was correct.
Yeah, but yeah, I like. First of all, one of the things I do like is, I just mentioned Best of Both Worlds. You have Picard as Locutus, very unemotional, very cold, but I thought it was a nice twist that Mr. Clever was the Doctor, but kind of evil. Kind of his whole personality kind of twisted, and I don't want to say Jokerish, but again, just kind of a dark
I
mirror.
would say Jokerish. You can't not say Jokerish.
Okay, well, yeah, a little Jokerish, and I also, again, I like that whole kind of mindscape thing. By the way, did anybody notice that the two halves were kind of color coded?
No, I missed that.
Yeah, I noticed in a couple of times when it was focused on the Doctor,
right,
the background was very red, and then when it was focused on Mr. Clever, it was blue. Very that kind of spectrum.
Did you notice some of the cuts when they were in the real world, and it was the Doctor talking? He was facing to the right side of the screen, and when it was the Mr. Clever, he was looking at the left side of the screen. So they were, it was because with the side of the face that had the Borg stuff on it, they were doing it perfectly. It was like cut, back, forth, back, forth, back, forth,
and very,
left, right,
and also
left, right.
very, and also very much kind of like what Peter Jackson did in Lord of the Rings.
It was totally like the Smeagol and Golem conversation, and I like that. See, there were parts of this episode I enjoyed. I don't know what to say.
Did you hear one of the lines that Mr. Clever said to the Doctor? He said, "You've been eliminating yourself from history. You could be reconstructed from the hole you left." And the Doctor was like, oh, I need to do something about that.
Yeah.
So I think that might have been some kind of clue.
Yeah, it's going to be something that pops up in the next episode, possibly.
Yeah, which is interesting because weren't we under the impression that Oswald was the one who created that hole? So, I mean, why would the Doctor take credit for that? Unless he's trying to duck a vital piece of information.
Well, remember that he had already lost 49.881% of his brain to Mr. Clever, and he didn't want to remember anything else to give him the advantage. It was at 0.238% of the balance. So if he, instead of having to think, oh no, that was Clara, he just rattled it off. Hey, yep, that was me.
Yeah. Plus, it probably would have been a good idea to give the Cybermen, that type of information. Like, oh wait, so a possible copy of the Doctor's Companion erased that knowledge. We could probably use her.
I say we just. I love the schizophrenia Matt Smith. I say we don't have any more bad guys. We just make Matt Smith his own enemy. That would be awesome. The whole series, just Matt Smith yelling at himself. It was awesome.
The new Valiard is Matt Smith.
It's Matt Smith.
Yeah.
Well, but then again, hey, remember, I mean, the Valiard is supposed to show up sometime before the Doctor's final reincarnation, so
maybe.
Hey, might still happen.
I just thought it was funny because this episode reminded me of one of the classic series, the Tom Baker one, where he had to go in his brain. Yeah. And literally cloned himself, got injected with Leela to go in his brain to fight off some kind of virus.
Can we have K9 introduced in that story?
Yeah, the invisible enemy. Yeah, that was.
I thought it was funny, and I'm just thinking to myself, his clones are in his brain. How is he not drowning in his own fluid in his own brain? So that's the first thing I thought of when he went into his head. I'm like, they're not drowning in there.
But then again, but Christian, remember, this was not like the invisible enemy where, you had mini clones injected straight into the brain. Mm-hmm. This was more of a mind in his own head type of thing,
right.
Kind of more of a, mind stuff sort of thing. So, there weren't actually tiny mini clones of Mr. Clever and the Doctor. It was just a projection of the two warring sides of his psyche.
Speaking of the classic series, there was a lot of classic series references in this episode, wasn't there?
Yeah, well, you had another flash of previous Doctor images, which, by the way, I had pointed this out to Trish, and I want to point this out to the two of you. Is it just me, or between 10 and 11, was there an explosion?
Between 10 and 11 was a regeneration sequence for just a couple of seconds from the last David Tennant story, End of Time.
Right, yeah, because I noticed that. I noticed they were flashing all the Doctor faces, and then you get to 10, and then between 10 and 11, there's the regeneration explosion effect.
Yes,
and I was like, wow, interesting.
Remember that he gave the Mr. Clever the information about regeneration, and that's how he did it. He showed him that that's what he could do to put them both into stalemate.
I thought that was an interesting effect. Mark, what did you think of the new and improved Cybermen?
I like the fact that they could move really fast. Using bullet time, Matrix is kind of passé now. We've passed them. That's years ago. But, that was kind of all right. Which Cybermen were being used? Because there were the C on the chest of the one that was playing chess in the first couple of ones, and then they went to a different model with like a light on the chest. They were using the alternate universe Cybermen for a while, and then they changed to the new ones. And I'm like, is there a backstory to that? Did the alternate universe Cybermen meet up with the regular Doctor Who universe Cybermen from the old series, and that's where the upgrading was coming from because they pooled together?
I seem to remember from A Good Man Goes to War.
Yeah.
That the Cybermen that we saw, it was said that they were regular universe Cybermen, even though it was the alternate design.
Oh, okay. So the C.
I think one of the things that got pointed out was the lack of the C on the chest.
Right.
Showed that they were, we'll say, main timeline, main universe.
Because there were C's on the chest.
Yeah, I did see one or two of the Cybermen did have the C on the chest.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that one of the things is when the amusement park was built and they brought the Cybermen in, that there may have been one or two that were kind of leftover alternate universe Cybermen, and then the main universe Mondus Cybermen also trickled in.
Yeah,
and there may have been a few mixing of parts.
Let me quench the rumor here, because Wikipedia, or as we're now calling it, WikiLeaks, and I quote from Wikipedia: the revived series Cybermen from Rise of the Cybermen, as do Cybermen from our universe. Gaiman's explanation is that the Cybus Cybermen and the Mondosian Cybermen joined together to upgrade themselves into the new look Cybermen. This is confirmed with Wikipedia.
Okay, so what I said was
WikiLeaks.
So what I was thinking has been pointed out to be true. That's good.
Okay, so essentially, but this was quoting from Gaiman himself.
That is a quote from what Wikipedia says is a quote from Gaiman himself. Yes.
And of course,
okay, what was the source? Like, where did he say this?
Wikipedia. I don't know where exactly it says, but that's what they're putting on.
Okay, because usually in Wikipedia, whenever they quote from somebody, they also have like a reference to an article or some sort of interview. But I'll have to look that up.
In that case, it's DoctorWhoTV.co.uk.
Okay.
Okay, so it's on.
Online another place. Folks, this may seem like cheating, but I'm going to take advantage of local resources right now. We're going to go to a commercial break. We'll be right back. Doctor Who began its long history back in 1963 and continues to this day. With the worldwide popularity of the show, can you believe that there was a long period of time when the show was absent from the airwaves? We call that the wilderness year. All was not lost, though, during those 16 years. Virgin Publishing and then BBC Books had several original Doctor Who novel lines featuring all the past Doctors and companions. These books are all out of print now, but where can you get them? At Mark Who 42 Books on Amazon. If you love to read and love Doctor Who, these books are cool. If you're a diehard Whovian needing to fill in gaps of your collection, fantastic! We also have annuals and reference manuals. All books are in new and like-new condition. If you're interested, go to amazon.com/shops/markwho42 and see for yourself. That's amazon.com/shops/MARKWHO42. And we're back, and you should buy my books, because my books are great. They're great, because we're not going to have Doctor Who on the air for 6 months coming up next week. You definitely, if you like reading about Doctor Who, go buy my books, and take a third of a drink or something. Just I got plugged there. Okay.
And for an extra couple of bucks, I'll come to your house personally and read them to you.
He will.
There you
Really will. He does that for a living.
It's a trap!
And tuck you into bed. Anyway,
Yeah.
for a small fee.
Oh. Now, did you guys notice that, the badge that the doctor pinned on Clara to make her, in charge, make her the boss?
The captain
Yeah.
insignia.
Yeah. I swear that in an earlier episode, Clara had a necklace that was made out of that pin that she was wearing.
It's possible they did film it out of order.
Yeah, it makes me think, that the episodes are out of order, especially when he dropped her off at the end. And she said, "See you next Wednesday." And he's like, he says, "A Wednesday, maybe last Wednesday."
Right.
So
That's a good.
we don't really know what order he's picking her up and dropping her off in.
Still playing timey games.
Well,
Yeah.
I just hope that, I hope that really that's just a matter of the prop department, reusing stuff, because I hope that's not one of these little hints, because honestly, I think, I know this is a show about time travel, but there are times that, I kind of don't want to go through, for you, this is the second time we've met, but for me, it's the third. It's like, okay, please don't. If they're gonna do that, there should be a warning on the TV. Go grab an Advil. Go grab some Advil because you're gonna have a headache.
Maybe it's just the continuity editor messed up. Maybe
it's the prop and the continuity guys messed up. I hope so. I hope so, because we already have that with River. I don't think we need that with Clara now.
Now, I wanted to bring up, we said we don't like the kids, whatever, or we liked one of them, we didn't like the other. The kids were important into the story, just like in Remembrance of the Daleks with the little girl. And by the way, I love that creepy little girl in Remembrance of the Daleks.
Oh, you're at the gate.
Yeah, exactly. The children's imagination is very important to work with logic to make you invincible. The renegade Daleks were using a girl as their battle computer because of what her imagination, and that's why the Cybermen were luring children to that planet, was because they needed cyber planners, and they used the child's imagination to help the logic so that it's not just all logic, because logic, if you fought someone else that's logical, you'd be in a stalemate. With creativity, with imagination, you might come up with an idea that logic says wouldn't work, and if it worked, you have an advantage.
Doctor Who is not the only, is not the only piece of sci-fi and fantasy to use this. There's an old episode of the anime Gotcha Man, which revolved around the bad guy kidnapping children from an amusement park and using their mental energies to create the monster of the week. So,
oh, come on. Are you telling me this was a Gotcha Man Oh, man.
Well, no,
I forgot that episode.
No, no. I mean, look, I'll be fair. The amusement park in this case was a regular amusement park, and it was only one ride. I think it was the House of Mirrors that they were using to kidnap people. And in this particular case, it was this weird sort of mind stuff blobby creature thing that they used. But the idea that the idea of using children and using their imagination, using the power of their minds, I'm just saying that it's not a new thing and it's not exclusively to Who. Right. But it's interesting to see it pop up again.
Hey, Mark, I want to bring this in because I'm surprised we haven't even jumped in on this, bring up one of my favorite sci-fi actors who was in this role, and I think I could probably sympathize as to why you weren't so happy with the episode. Maybe this is probably one of the reasons.
Are you talking about Luden's Nimrod Kendrick?
I'm talking about Willow, yes.
Longstaff the 41st? Are you talking about My Bowl of Oatmeal?
I was thinking about books, but that's okay. But I thought that, and we saw this with the character of the Emperor. Thank you, Warwick-Davis. You were awesome in that episode. So I just want to say that. Warwick was awesome. But I saw, and I don't know if this is Neil's fault or Stephen Wolfenden who directed it, but you saw him literally bring out his character in relationship to the Doctor, who had to make that decision during the Time War to, quote-unquote, push that button. and wipe out all these people. And I would have loved to seen that relationship with the Doctor looking at the Emperor and seeing his own reflection in the Emperor. Seeing he has to make that decision. And it just seemed like, and it was there, and the Doctor kind of like said, well, you got to do this kind of deal. But not having any remorse or anything, which David Tennant's Doctor, the 10th Doctor, had to cope, get over, and get through. The 11th Doctor said, yeah, blow it up. We got no choice at this moment. I thought Neil could have delve into that, because I started seeing that and I said, oh my God, this is awesome. We actually have a character who has that relationship, and probably the Doctor could see peripherally, if I said that right,
you said it right.
and look at him from the outside and say, hey, he has to make this decision to blow up people. And I wish that was explored more. I think this would have been a solid story if we had delved more into the Emperor's story and got the kids out of the way.
Yeah.
A little bit.
I will say, I have to agree with you, Christian. Although I will say, at least for what we got out of the Emperor, I thought he was a great character. I do get a little vibe of Henry V, in the sense that here's the Emperor and he's kind of mingling among the people. Not very comfortable with the trappings of power. Very humble. He's there feeding the troops. Not all too happy to be doing so. And I do like his back and forth with Clara. While not as cool as the Professor and Clara from Cold War, it was still kind of nice. Although, it would have been nice to have maybe the Emperor and the Doctor kind of trade notes on what it's like to have to wipe out, a huge group of people, to have to make that hard decision.
Yeah.
I have to admit, I was thinking that he was probably the one to push the button.
Yeah.
Based off his conversation with Clara, when he points out the hole in the
Siberian spiral galaxy.
Yeah, when he pointed out the hole, and he's like, "Oh, I feel sorry for the guy who pushed the button." At first, and especially because the thing he wore on his head looked kind of like a little old school pilot's cap. At first, I thought,
it looked like the outfits from Time Bandits.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Somebody had to say it.
But the outfit, I mean, I was thinking it gave me kind of a pilot vibe.
Yeah.
And at first I was thinking, oh, he's gonna, we're gonna have a situation kind of like the guy who flew the Enola Gay to drop Fat Man on Hiroshima. That, he was gonna be the pilot who had dropped the bomb, and and he was gonna be this sort of lonely warrior who had to deal with the fact that, he was such a mass murderer, and everybody's calling him a hero. But, it turns out I was half correct, because, while he was the one who pushed the button, he's also the Emperor. And, so, while it would have been great to get what Christian was saying and get that moment with him and the Doctor kind of sharing this pain, at least what we did get was still good. It's like I can't complain. I am regretting that we didn't get this moment Christian mentioned, but I can't complain with what we did get.
Yeah. Did you notice there was another children's story that was referenced during this television story? Pippi Longstocking?
Really? When?
Natty Longshoes, Comical Castle. With Natty Longshoe, Pippi Longstocking. It's real, but comical.
Return the map. It will bring you great danger. Stop now.
I'll explain later.
Well, I was the only one waiting for the guy coming up from the sky? Really?
Explain later.
Well, we could have had David Warner come back, playing evil,
yes.
Going, I love thinking evil thoughts. It makes me feel so good. Oh, I'm sorry, Master. It's all right. It'll pass.
Nipples for men. He created slugs.
Lasers, day one. I'm sorry, Christian, but I'm going to have to turn you into a dog now.
Thank you, Master. Thank you.
But anyway, getting back on track.
Getting back to Doctor Who.
Getting back on track. And I have to say that one of the things that made me like this episode, despite the peanut gallery, as it were, one of the things I did like about this episode is it's yet another episode, and funny that we keep bringing up Cold War. It's another episode that, like Cold War, we did not have the Clara mystery. This episode was able to stand pretty much on its own, and we were able to enjoy it without having some sort of reference to, she's a mystery, what's the deal with her?
Well, it was brought up. It was brought up by Mr. Clever quite often, actually.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. It felt like there was something about this episode where it wasn't as upfront. You know, it wasn't as in your face. You know, it wasn't as reminding you of, oh, we have something going on. What could it be?
I think I can relate to Ed's topic. We saw Clara the character, not Clara the mystery. So we saw more of a delve into her character, and I do love that scene where he comes out and starts going, he likes, you know, I like you. He was trying to show that he was showing affection. She knew right away, no, that's not you. I know that for a fact. You know, you don't have affection for me right now.
Yeah, no, and by the way, I love that scene because it means that their relationship is not going to be based off yet another female companion that wants to snog the Doctor.
Happy birthday to Catherine Tate.
So glad.
By the way, have you heard that Lee Mack and Catherine Tate are writing a script for a new television series in England called Everybody Loves Raymond?
What?
They're remaking Everybody Loves Raymond in England. Catherine Tate is one of the co-writers that's putting it together.
Really?
Oh, that's good. I don't see Lee Mack as Raymond, but he's writing it with her. So you know.
Well, hey, and it's nice to hear that she's already working on something since The Office is having its series finale on Thursday. So
yeah.
Nice to hear that she's already trying to get some work. So good for her, and happy birthday, Catherine Tate. Happy belated. Now
everyone knows I don't like remakes, but you know what? Sometimes. You know, I mean, and especially when they do a remake of a British show in America, except for The Office, which is all right, kind of. They don't really work. It usually works the other way, and so I'm hoping that this new show will be good.
On Mars.
I liked Life on Mars. I thought Harvey Keitel was great.
Don't forget Coupling.
Coupling.
A remake of a British show that remade an American show.
Top Gear.
I guess not. I guess we're not getting it. Well, but in reverse, it usually works. They do good shows over there.
Yeah. But
Man About the House was Man About the House. I think Three's Company lasted for quite a while.
I got a question for all of you, and this is coming from somebody who's watched the classics as well, because I couldn't help with the chess games sit there and watch The Curse of Fenric all over again.
Yes, thank you for bringing that up. I was going to bring that up.
But I have a question for you before we go into too much of it, and I should have thrown this out onto the boards. What would you say if we took out the chess game and put in a poker game? And I'm not talking about the Corbinite maneuver either kind of deal, but what if that was a poker game instead of a chess game? Would that have changed the dynamic?
Yeah, I think maybe because poker also has a lot of, I think poker, it's kind of it's a different feel. I mean, there's still strategy involved, but it's a lot of mental strategy. Whereas chess, you actually have like a field of battle. It's like planning a war. Poker is more about, tackling somebody's mental defenses, and seeing, and kind of testing their mettle.
Well, wasn't that what we're trying to do? Tackle his mental defenses?
Well, yes, but I don't know. I think chess worked better in this case.
Poker's more secret because, you don't know the cards that other people are holding, whereas chess, all the pieces are laid out on the board.
Well, remember that the 0.238% of the mind in balance was not known, and and of course the 49.881% that the Doctor wouldn't give up to Mr. Clever as well was unknown to Mr. Clever. So
yeah,
it does the bluff work. The bluff would work either way.
Well, I don't know, and I think also that given the fact that they were battling over dwindling supplies of mental energy, that would probably have been dangerous.
Also, poker would have been much quicker. You needed a long, drawn-out game.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, guys, I know it's going to be a short episode today. It's Mother's Day this week in America, and we had to do this on the fly. I wanted to bring up he said, she said. Not to break our rule about not talking about the episode coming up, The Name of the Doctor, because this is a prequel to that, but this was released fair and square.
Yeah, no, this was I don't think that we can count this as breaking our rules because it was released fair and square. It was officially released. This wasn't somebody leaking. Although I find it interesting that it takes place after the finale.
Yeah.
Because they both said, then I found out what I learned at Trenzalore.
Exactly.
So, am I the only person who noticed a few Easter eggs in the room?
There were tons of Easter eggs. It looked like they were in the storage room of the props. During that,
well, she flicks the
filming in the storage room.
Well, she flicks the switch over in the castle. Did anybody catch that?
Yeah, and
she flicks a switch and nothing happens.
There were props from all the episodes this half season.
Well, if you looked in the back, I think in both sequences, in Clara's and the Doctor's, you could see in the background the chess-playing Cybermen.
Yeah.
From the episode we just saw.
Exactly. There were other things you could see as well.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm not even talking obvious things like the fact that the Doctor was looking at Clara's Victorian dress. Just stuff in the background that wasn't even focused on.
There was that circular pattern from Rings of Akatan was there. I mean, it looked like a prop room that they were just filming at the BBC studio.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mark just says that because we want to hear just Ed grunt the whole thing.
Rings of Akatan. I love having power. Speaking of power, how does it feel, Christian, to be able to say that the new episode of Dr. Stu is out?
Yes. Finally released.
It was really good. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
It was.
Oh, how does it feel? How does it feel?
My favorite part was the Spaceballs reference.
There you go.
And I knew where you guys were going right from the start because I know that movie extremely well.
Me too.
Oh.
I was saying all the lines with it as it was going.
And hey, I can vouch for her knowledge because we've had many a conversation where we just throw lines off each other. Trish and I could probably do a remake of Spaceballs with just the two of us doing all the parts.
That's a Kevin Carson twist. That's his whole doing. He loves that. Throwing in the references. We had the airplane reference in the old series, and now in the new series they had Spaceballs. And Jason Garofalo was awesome with the animation.
It was great.
Yeah, but knowing when you see the credits rolling and something like that, and your name shows up, you just go squeak, and then you just go on. It's just like, that's my name.
Christian did a squeak. Christian did a squeak.
That's scary.
When's the next episode? Are you guys already working on it?
Don't know yet. They are still working on it. They are filming it. I can't wait. Just sitting down there. And if you notice, one of the things that Kevin wanted to make sure that everybody was aware, none of us have seen each other in person. We're literally doing this all on the internet. Jason's doing it from his point. Kevin's doing the writing. I'm doing the weirdness. We have, I believe their last names are Tennant Ash and another person. I'm sorry, I can't think of their name, but they're doing the voices from another. So, I mean, literally, it's a big puzzle piece being put together somewhere in America with different twists to it. So, yeah, it's all. I am proud of what come out, and I can't wait until
joys of the internet age.
Oh, yes.
So remember to go to drstew.com. That's DOCTORSTEW.com. And you can watch the episode that has just come out.
Subscribe to their YouTube channel, too.
Oh, yes. Subscribe to YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
Go like their Facebook page, which I'm doing right now.
There you go.
Hey, just like them. Okay.
I did way before I even met Christian.
I think I did, too. I did too. And
I subscribed to the YouTube channel way before I met Christian. So, yeah, I've been a fan.
Why? Thank you. Continue being a fan.
Hands off, Christian.
Hey,
back away.
Not that kind of fan. Yeah.
Back away.
Hey! Rings of Azkaban.
Okay.
Thought so.
See, now you're making me. You're not making me groan. You're making me murderously groan. I just have to say that I managed to pay a visit to my local comic shop, and I picked up Doctor Who: Prisoners of Time #4 with my man number 4, Tom Baker. Enjoyed the story immensely, and I got a big kick out of the Doctor and Leela versus the Jadoon. It's really cool to see a classic Doctor with a modern Doctor alien race. And I'm already trying to figure out who the bad guy is. Like, I thought that issue 3 and issue 4 dropped some interesting hints. So
Yeah.
I'm already trying to work on a theory. Maybe in a later episode I'll toss out a few theories, but we'll save that for later. Maybe at the halfway point in the mini, but and after we're finished with Series 7. But yeah, I enjoyed it. So yeah, if you have a chance, go to your local comic shop, pick up Prisoners of Time. I think issue 5 is coming out in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, issue 5 should be out in 2 weeks.
Yeah, so like after Series 7. Basically.
Yeah, after Series 7,
finished.
that Wednesday it should come out.
Yeah, so pick it up.
This weekend you can meet Christian and myself at the Hurricane Boost Series 7 finale party. All right, we're going to be recording. We're going to bring my trusty little voice recorder, and we're going to ask people their questions about what they like about Doctor Who, and specifically on Name of the Doctor after they've seen it. And we'll put that on our show, hopefully next week, which again will be a little bit late because I'll be on my way home from the event, so we won't be able to do the show until the day later.
And Trish, if someone asks if you want to be Queen of the Universe, you say yes.
Well, she said she was the Queen of the Universe.
Well, there you go. Well, if somebody asks,
it's very.
I'm Queen of Eduardo's universe.
There you go.
Ooh,
oh yeah, and I'm sure. And hey, with all due respect to Freddie Mercury, I think I'm Prince of her universe.
I have to end
Absolutely.
the show now.
I know we're gonna make
got
everybody
nothing to add, folks. Facebook
the-
page, Mark42's Universe. Contact us, Mark at Mark42.com. Go listen to us on Stitcher, iTunes, GeekCast Radio Network. We're everywhere. Bye, everyone. See you next week, or you'll listen to us. Bye.
There is one place you must never go.
Where? This is the Doctor's greatest secret.
And it is discovered.
He can't go there, you know he can't.
I have a duty.
You just said it's one place you must never go.
I'm about to cross my own timeline in the biggest way possible. The TARDIS doesn't like it. Die, reptile!
What is your name?
Please, stop it. Doctor!
Mark Who 42's Whoniverse has been written and presented by Mark Baumgarten, Patricia Helm, Eduardo-m-Freyre, and Christian Basel. The show was co-produced by Patricia Helm, Mark Baumgarten, and Eduardo-m-Freyre, and edited and directed by Mark Baumgarten. Doctor Who and its properties are owned by the BBC, the British Broadcasting Corporation. Please remember to rate us and listen to us on iTunes and the Stitcher Radio app, and comment on our broadcast at geekcastradio.com. Tweet us at MarkWho42, and check out our Facebook page, Mark Who 42's Whoniverse. We can be contacted by email at mark@markwho42.com with the subject line, ? This podcast is owned and copyrighted by Mark Baumgarten et al. 2013.